Hi, my lovely hummingbirds. Welcome back to another episode of Rate It here on POPCulture with your lovely host, Monroe. How's it going, everyone? For today's gorgeous episode, we will be reviewing none other than DAMSEL. Ooh, it is a feature on Netflix featuring Millie Bobby Brown. Or starring Millie Bobby Brown, which congratulations to her and Jake Bon Jovi on their nuptials. We wish them well. I do want to say, off the bat, this movie was fucking incredible. It just filled all of my little fantasy love and just wonder to the nth degree. It was such a good movie. It was very well done. I mean, Angela Bassett's in it, and she's the stepmom, and that alone, I'm just like, mommy. But anywho, so the movie oh, by the way, I hope you guys like the makeup look. I did do a few things a little differently. I darkened like the yellow thing that I used, and I put the blush a little more high up. Also, I did a brown versus the like burgundy lipstick I had. Originally, that makeup look was done for a TikTok where I did like a Gryffindor themed poem thing, which, okay, just little fits perfectly in line with the story because, oh, by the way, spoilers, if you have not yet seen Damsel, I'm gonna ruin it for you. But in the film, the kingdom that does this poor dragoness dirty has what looks like the insignia from Hogwarts, like the lion, and I'm like, oh my god. Not Godric Gryffindor went to defeat the dragon, right? Quote unquote defeat, and really, like, that's canon in my brain now. Oh my god, I love water. Hold on. So, first and foremost, Millie Bobby Brown's character, Elodie, gives me very Merida vibes, because her I was gonna say her poor ass kingdom, jeez, I'm sorry, no, her kingdom is struggling. They are in poverty, and Elodie is a huntress. She lives with her dad, her sister, her younger sister, and her stepmom. And you know, as was in the olden days, people would get married off in order to provide for their kingdoms. She is technically a princess of her kingdom. Her sister, when they were on the boat and like you're seeing them interact, her sister kind of gives me fucking Beauty and the Beast. She gives me Belle vibes, and I'm like, are we alluding to that's what actually happened to Belle's family and we just don't remember because of the spell that the Enchantress did? I'm just tying in a whole lot of universes that have nothing to do with each other right now. But the dragon talks in this movie, and I just think that is so amazing, and it makes me happy. So it starts off with, you know, her kingdom is struggling. They can barely make food, ends meet, and they come in from a different kingdom on the outskirts of the realm, I think it is, and they're like, hey, so we're gonna, you know, marry off Elodie, and, you know, she's excited to do what is right for her kingdom and for her people, and they go to this other fucking realm, and it looks very ominous from the start. Like, it, I don't know, I think Midsummer ruined bright and cheery for me. Because now if it's like in an action or horror movie and it's bright and cheery, I'm like, something atrocious is about to happen, I know it. But it looks very bright and very opulent and very just like, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen? And of course, you know, the girls had never really seen something like that when it came to just the vastness of the castle and all the baubles and trinkets that they put on her, and like her wedding dress is so like out there and gaudy, right? And right off the bat, when Elodie is at the balcony of her room, she looks over yonder and sees another person who I think she assumed was the princess of that like royal family. She wasn't. She was not. And Angela Bassett's character, her stepmom, soon begins to realize that something is off when she tries to make, you know, chummy besties with the prince's mom. And she's like, do not like confuse, not verbatim, but basically she's like, don't get it fucking twisted, lady. Like, you are not gonna be part of this family. We're taking your daughter and we're paying you for her. Essentially, you're getting money. That's what you get out of this. And Angela Bassett's like, nope, something is very wrong. And at this point in time, like, they take the king and they were having a whole separate meeting with him, essentially telling him why they're paying them so much and what's gonna happen to Elodie. Spoiler alerts, she's a sacrificial lamb, y'all. And once this happens, Angela Bassett's character runs to Elodie's room and is there with her and her sister, and she's like, no, like, we need to go, like, this is a bad idea, like, please, like, you know, be about your wits and keep yourself focused, because this is bad vibes all around. And I sat there and I was like, ma'am, but when you were selling her for all this money, you did not think it was bad vibes all around. And then her husband comes in, Elodie's dad, and she's like, are you sure about this? And he's like, why? What's going on? And then Elodie like covers for her stepmom. She's like, oh, you know, we're just having girl talk. Just, you know, pre-wedding jitters kind of thing. And I'm like, no, something's definitely not right here. So the wedding is performed. And the prince tells Elodie how they have a ritual in the family that they have to go do up in the mountains. And I'm like, what? Why can't they do this ritual in the castle where it's safe? No place is safe in foreign lands. That was very odd. Okay. And so they're in their golden carriage and she's still dressed to the nines in her gorgeous golden gown, and he's all in gold as well, and he picks her and he's like, oh, you know, it's like customary, but no, I'm lying, we're not there yet. Essentially, the ritual, what they tell her is she has to take a golden coin and toss it over like the cavern of the mountain that they're in. And she does, she agrees, but actually that is not the tradition, and she's part of a sacrifice. The family of this dragon kingdom sacrifices 3 royal daughters to the dragon that is in this dungeon, in these caverns. And so he picks up Elodie and he's like, oh, you know, this is part of the tradition, we have to cross the bridge. And she's like, oh my god, my sister would love this, it's like so Prince Charming. Which like actually breaks my heart a little bit, because when her and the prince initially met, they started talking a bit, and like it seemed like they were actually cutesy bonding, and how like they were both into like horseback riding and everything, real Kendall Jenner, Bad Bunny, right? And they talk about like the mace that she drew, and it was a heart. It was like a cute little, we're doing this for the honor and duty of our kingdoms, but only one of them really knew what they were doing. Throws her over, she lands. Thankfully, the fall doesn't kill her, because that was one hell of a fall. But she does injure herself, if I'm not mistaken. And on her landing, pretty sure all the floof of that dress also broke the fall a little bit. But she falls and she sees a shoe, a crown, her gold coin. She also sees, what's that fucking thing she saw in there? Oh, a fancy gold garter, a necklace, all these things from all the other quote-unquote royal daughters or princesses that had also been thrown over into the ravine. Honestly, it gave me very Wrath in the Dawn vibes, with a new bride is killed every day kind of thing, although in this part it's 3, and then the king, well, prince going to be king, can marry whoever the hell he wants, is essentially how it works. So on her landing, she immediately meets the dragon. The dragon tries to kill her and she gets burned. It's a whole freaking thing. She has this little perfume bowl thing though that they attach to her gown, and it's filled with some kind of resin. I don't know what kind of resin it is, but she essentially uses that by grabbing some of the like molten rock that the dragon was trying to like basically turn her into barbecue, and she puts it in the little resin ball and it becomes a little lantern. And I'm like, oh my god, that's actually quite ingenious. This bitch is so smart. I'm like, I don't know how well I would have survived any of this. Just thoughts that go through my head as I watch fantasy films. And she's in pain. She wraps pieces of her gown onto essentially her wounds, and she falls asleep. In her dream that she has, she sees all of the previous brides that have been sacrificed, and she ends up in this little tucked in tunnel where there is basically a fucking map of how to get out, drawn over time by the other previous princesses. And one of them specifically like is like real, you know, real 5D world experience over here, goes like into her face and she's like, it's a lie. And she wakes up and she's like, what the fuck, what's a lie? That's when she finds it, and she finds all the names and she writes her name on there as well on the wall. Real heartbreaking. Then when she goes into this cavern where there's water, she sees these really cool like pretty turquoise bugs, and I think they're like worms, some shit like that. Slugs. They're slugs. And you know, they end up going on her wounds, and she freaks out because she's like, oh my god, they're gonna like suck me of my blood kind of thing. They're not. They actually heal her. They have healing properties. They're not just fluorescent to look pretty. And she follows essentially the map to try and get out. She gets to the part where it's like this cavern of crystals that leads outward, but the dragon gets to her, and it's like you can't get out there unless you jump and risk imminent death, because there's really no way to get out. Her dad actually had a change of heart, came back with some of his soldiers, and is like, we're gonna rescue my fucking daughter. He pays some, I think he's a merchant. They don't ever really specify who this man is that's with them, but he knows the way into the cave and is said to them that he was gonna help them get Elodie out. It was a lie. He got scared. They saw the dragon goes and she murks everybody. Everyone dies. Sadly, also including her dad. And whilst all this is happening, I've been saying whilst for like the past, anyways. And while all of this is happening, Elodie has already seen in dreams, and she finds the 3 broken eggs. Apparently dragons bleed gold. Which is cool, but anyway. So she finds it, she tells the dragoness, I know what happened. She apologizes, she's like, you're a liar, it's you and your people and your kind. But one of the things is that in this ritual, they basically slice open the princess's hand and the prince, and they merge their blood together, thus making them royal blood. So she then tells the dragon, they've been lying to you. I am not their daughter. Like, they have this whole weird Illuminati-esque ritual that they're doing with all the people that they're marrying to the kingdom. None of these girls have actually been daughters of the original family that killed your children. And she's like, you're a liar, blah, blah, blah. And that's when they show a sequence of a flashback where I was like, oh my god, it's King Uther and the Knights of the Round Table. I'm like, not me blaming Arthur. I think they were on the search for the Holy Grail. I don't remember off the top of my head, but they show up with the insignia of the lion and they destroy the baby dragons, which is actually really heartbreaking. I'm like, they weren't doing nothing to nobody. And then the dragon threatens them and they're like, you will give me 3 every business quarter or some shit. So like, what is that, 12 innocent girls in a year type of thing. And it's honestly very, very tragic story. So she explains to her no, and then Millie Bobby Brown's character gets super smart and tricks the dragon. Dragon ends up burning itself. It does a little alley-oop on the stone. Takes itself, she stabs it, and she's like, you need to believe me, I need to show you. And Dragon's like, nope, you're being a lying whore. I don't believe you. While all this is happening, Elodie had managed to originally escape before this final last battle with the dragon. She made it out, dragon is pissed, starts burning the kingdom. And they're like, oh my god, it didn't work. What do we do now? So they go and they kidnap her little sister to repeat the ritual. And the prince has a heart, apparently, and he's like, no, she's a child, I refuse, I won't do this. His mom gives me the mom in Maleficent 2. Same vibe. Pretty sure those queens are related, but she cuts her own hand, grabs the girl, and puts her blood on her, and I'm like, so is this like the mom's family? Or was it the dad's, and because they did that to her, did she survive the ritual? I had a few questions about like that, at least. And tosses her, and then Elodie finds her stepmom, who is bleeding because she got stabbed by the kingdom's guards because they defeated her kingdom's guards. And she's like, they took your sister, and she's like, I have to go back in there. She goes back into the cave, then commences the whole full-fledged battle, and she does end up getting her little sister out. She heals the dragon with those same magical slugs, and she's like, they basically make a deal. She's like, I will get you these people, right? And after they make a deal of like showing her like, you know, it's not any of us, like we're all innocent. Obviously that breaks the dragoness's heart, because she's like, wow, I'm literally doing the same thing they did to my own children. And she's like, I can help you get your revenge. She then shows up, which when she finally gets out the mountain and like returns her little sister with her stepmom, I look at her outfit and I'm like, okay, the costume department did its motherfucking thing. Because she starts off very golden and bright and innocent, and as she's tearing off segments of this dress and it gets torn in like battle and getting burned and all this stuff, like it just, her whole aesthetic becomes very darkened, where like there's still fragments of light in her, but obviously it's no longer the same. She chops her hair off with a crystal to make a rope to swing. It's a whole thing, real fucking cool. She killed it in this role, she really did. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this, where you see a character or an actor be a specific character, and then when you see them again, that's all you can picture. I wasn't getting 11 vibes from her in this at all, so that was really nice. And I was like, look at Millie Bobby Brown doing the damn thing. Shows up back to the kingdom that her gold fucking coin, she finds it amongst the rubble of gold and tosses that bitch at the feet of the monarchs of this kingdom, where they're marrying the prince to essentially the third victim. Because they figured, well, Elodie was supposed to be the second, and they're like, well, she's not dead. We threw in the little sister, she's probably dead. They're marrying him off to a third poor girl that has no idea. And Elodie shows up and she's like, take your family and run. And the family's like, battle wounded, badass looking chick with a fucking corset that looks like it's now made of leather. Even though it was a gorgeous corset of a gown. Yeah, we should leave. So they leave, and she basically tells the other members of the kingdom, like, whoever else like wants to leave, take your family and go. Now is your chance. Tells them off. He's like, no, you don't get it. That was the last one. And the prince is like, I really did like you, and now I can marry whoever I want after this final sacrifice. And I'm like, what? Like, no, dude, that is not the move. So then the dragon shows up all badass and just starts murdering everyone for all the bullshit that they did. And honestly, I'm with the dragon on this one. So, as far as fantasy films go, I think they did a really good job of not dragging out the storyline entirely too much. I think they did an incredible job at really having it have a decent pace. You weren't sitting there really second guessing everything all the time. It did keep you quite entertained. It was a very enthralling movie. I don't think, I can't really say anything bad about it. Like I said, I did notice varying elements from other aspects of fantasy, but honestly, it was a well-rounded film. Millie Bobby Brown did an incredible job. I don't think I've seen Angela Bassett in such a docile role recently that I was just like, wow, this woman is just an incredible actress. I love her. I did see a few new faces that I hadn't seen previously, I don't think, and honestly, 10 out of 10, yay to the dragon. In the words of Fred and George Weasley, well done, dragon! But for me, it was very big on the visuals. Like, even the aspects that you knew were CGI were done so freaking well. It was really amazing. There's this one scene which is my, like, honestly one of my ultimate favorite scenes besides the final one where she shows up looking like a badass, where I can't remember if they're butterflies, but they're basically on fire and they set fire to this whole thing, and she has to, like, it's like a forest in the cave, and she has to, like, get the hell out of there before she so catches fire. It's very interesting. I think the visuals were impeccable. Like, the dragon itself looked really freaking cool. It kind of gave me a little bit Chimera vibes. Like, I don't know, I feel like I'm used to seeing dragons as, like, very scaly. This one looked fuzzy. I think she looked fuzzy. It was the dragon. But makeup team, costume team, they did an amazing freaking job as far as just showing the keen differences between Elodie's kingdom and how they are more in, like, more struggling, more hunter vibes versus the Dragon Kingdom, where essentially they're all about opulence. And it was giving very the North remembers and very the Lannisters. That's also what it was giving. Very interesting. Just shooting a bunch of popular culture references to all my lovely Hummingbirds. But out of 10, I want to be biased and give it a 10. It's giving solid 7, just because I feel like I saw pretty much everything in the trailers before the movie came out. So as far as, like, promotion went and all of that, keeping an air of mystery was a little bit more difficult for this film, especially because it's not a franchise. It's not, like, super freaking long. I would like to potentially maybe see a prequel to it where you see some of the other stories. That'd be pretty freaking cool. Or seeing, like, the mom of the prince in this one, because like I said, I don't know if she survived the dragon or if it's her family that caused everything. And she was just, like, the first daughter in a long line, and she probably was the one that's like, hey, I have a solution, let's get some random brides and kill them all. Like, I don't know. I think a little more backstory would definitely have helped in that. So, like, there are, like I said, those little tiny missing plot points at the end of the film. Elodie, her stepmom, and her sister decide that they are gonna be the ones to run the port of their town, and they're gonna be in charge. They're sailing away for a better life, better future, better venture, 3 badass independent women, okay? And then the dragon is with them. The dragoness is with them. And I don't know. I think it's a very fun movie. I would not say that this is a movie to watch with the kids, just because it does get a little graphic and there are very antagonizing subplots throughout, but definitely a good movie just to chill and pass the time. Again, Millie Bobby Brown did that shit. It was super cute. And it made me want a ball gown ever more. Ever more than just all the Bridgerton obsession I've had. And it makes me want a pleather bustier. I was watching it and I was like, I need one. I need a bustier. And I have my wig and I had a hope I was gonna wear my like orange, my freaking, what's this wig that I have? My freaking Black Widow wig. I was gonna wear that and, you know, do a whole thing, but it didn't happen. Sorry, y'all. I'm a disappointment when it comes to my cosplays of late. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the episode. I hope you enjoyed the movie. If you've seen it, if you haven't, you should definitely go check it out. It is a very fun film as far as fantasy is concerned. It's not a really feel good all the time movie. As I mentioned, there are a little bit like harsher points. Like, I mean, he throws her into a ravine over a bridge. Yeah, okay, I'm done. That's it for me, for you, for today, my lovely hummingbirds. I love you all so much. I'll catch you on the next one. Let me know in the comments if you saw the movie, if you haven't seen it yet. If you did, what did you think about it? Let me also know, what other things do you want to see on pop culture as far as ratings and reviews, movies, shows that you want mine or my Nikki and Gabe's opinions on. And that's it for me, for you, for today. I love you all so much. Les mando mucha paz, muchos besos, y les recuerdo que miren hacia la luna. Sending you much peace, many kisses, and reminding you to always look up at the moon. I love you all so much, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.